Over the next 13 days I'll be eating only what I catch. I'll be spearfishing in the depths of my local waters in search for some tasty fish and big lobsters. I'll be testing my rifle and shotgun skills whilst hunting for rabbit, pigeon and pheasant, and foraging the coastline and hedgerows for edible plants and hopefully a few lucky finds along the way. So join me on this 13-day adventure. So you're probably asking yourself why I'm even doing this in the first place. The main reason being the challenge itself, going back to the very basics, catching and eating everything that I can find. I, just like everybody else, spend a lot of money on food, especially with the increased prices this year. The cost of living, everything has gone up, including our food, bills, etc. You know, I love my food, there's no two ways about it. Meat, cheese, wine, pasta, bread, you name it. I'll try and eat as much as I can on a daily basis, but doing this challenge I'm going back to the very basics. And the second point being the health benefits of doing this. Now, the food that I'm going to be eating is going to be 100% natural, source from, you know, Mother Nature itself. So no added sugars, preservatives, saturated fats, none of that. It's literally the whole food itself. Some of the things I'm going to eat I've never even tried before, let alone cooked. So this is a great way to gain a lot of knowledge in areas I'm yet to discover. What was that? What a shot! That was an awesome shot. What a shot, look at that. That's from a long way away. One in the bag. That was horrendous. Doing one, baby. I'm going to leave the shotgun here just so if something does fly over, I can get it. Took the feathers off and kept the skin on just because I fancy having a bit of something to like crisp up on the actual breast itself. So back in the kitchen, we're keeping it nice and simple. Last of all, which I just picked from where I was shooting, is some nettles. Now I haven't had these in years. There we go. I'm starving, so. Pigeon's quite hard to explain. It's almost a mix between duck, like turkey I suppose, but with a load more flavour. Like any bird that you shoot with a shotgun, obviously when you're eating it you need to look out for the shot. Probably save some for the seals. As I sat here finishing a bit of yesterday's meal, it got me thinking of alternative ways of getting carbohydrates into my body. The journey down to where I'm sat right now was through multiple fields of wheat, wheat being a fantastic source of carbohydrates. Perfect for making bread, wraps, flatbreads, the list is endless, so this was next on my agenda. Last few casts of the evening and we were just about to head home, and we cast it in one last time and managed to get a little mackerel tonight, which isn't too bad. Going to feed me tonight with that rock samphire which I picked up with Jack yesterday. Now, although a lot of people say that rock samphire is quite rare or almost extinct, it's actually quite wrong. You know, rock samphire is really common, and if you find the right sort of area for it, you know, you'll find an abundance of it. we have a treat. Picked a load of wheat from local field, and all I'm going to do, it's not that dry yet, so I'm going to dry it out myself a little bit more. I'm going to take it out of the little pods that they're in the sun during the hot afternoon, and it should dry out a lot quicker, and then I'll be able to grind it down and make a little bit of flour. So all I'm going to do is just strip each individual pod. So you're going for about 40 minutes now, and I've got the last one left here. That's all the like the husks as such, as you can see, but they're still in quite a lot of husk. If you blow it away, look, you're left with the actual grain. With the wheat set aside drying in the warm summer afternoon, I decided to head down to the coast before sunset and catch myself some dinner. On a high tide, this local spot is very good for catching mackerel on small lures. After about an hour of spinning, we managed to catch a nice bucket of mackerel. All I did to prepare these was cut the heads off and remove the insides, throwing everything back into the ocean. Prepping your catch while still out on the water allows for other small creatures to feed, ensuring nothing is wasted. Right, what's going on? Welcome back. It's day 4 today. It's lunchtime and I'm just about to cook up the pollock that we've got there and a lobster claw. It'll be very tasty, and it's a nice size one as well. In order to do this effectively, I've had to catch some fish prior to me starting this challenge. Like I said, I do have a normal job. Going out catching my fish every day isn't always possible. It is in the evenings, but especially during the afternoon and morning, I have to use fish that I've caught and put in the freezer. So I've actually mixed up what I normally do. I've put the nettles straight in with the fish on top. I've got the ocean ledge seasoning in it as well, and then I'm going to wrap it up in a parcel, throw it in the oven, and then it should be good to go in about 20 minutes. Just about to tuck into the lobster. Got one nice big claw taken from the big lobster that I pulled out from when I went out with Wet Mum. Literally nothing beats lobster, I don't think. I haven't put anything with that. The reason I'm not eating this lobster in full is because it's far too big. Like, the amount of meat I'm getting off just the claw alone. A massive bit of lobster there. Now the lobster's done, I'm going to move on to that pollock, which is still in the oven. It's got some ocean ledge seasoning on it, nettles, bit of water to make a little bit of a sauce, and that's about it. Pretty boring, but nonetheless, it's a feed. As time went on, things started to become much easier. I started creating efficient hunter-gatherer routines. Locating the food became much easier, and what took me 2 hours at the start of the week now only took me 1. 5 days into this challenge, and I'm starting to realise just how lucky some of us actually are. Being able to go to the shops when you're hungry or need food is something that we all take for granted these days. Doing this challenge really brings you back to the bare minimum and makes you physically work for your food. If you don't put that work in to get your food, you're going hungry. It's as simple as that. Right, welcome back. Day 6 today. We're in Torquay, me and Jack, and I'm actually doing boat safety for a spearfishing competition, but I took my rod with me, and just over lunch I just popped the line down and managed to catch 4 mackerel. So I'm quickly going to gut these, but I'm going to use the chopping board which I picked up from, was it day 2? Fisherman's chopping board of some kind. There's knife marks on it, so it's obviously been used like that in the past, but that's going to be perfect for me if I'm out on the boat. I think it was day 2. Put that to good use. Gut the fish and then take them home and have them for dinner. That seagull's going to have an absolute feast, isn't it? Never mind. I would just like to thank my sponsor of today's video, and this video wouldn't be possible without them. SUNSUP is a recently launched South Devon based paddleboard brand. Their aim is to encourage a better lifestyle balance through outdoor activities. Now, being someone who spends a lot of time in the ocean, the most appealing aspect of the brand for me is their sustainability, using recycled materials where possible. Plastic bottles are used for the carrying bag, and fishing nets recovered from the sea are used in making the fins for the boards. Not only that, the boards come in lots of different patterns, so you can have one that best suits you or your partner. My personal favourite is the tropical Thurleston board, which I've been using a lot this summer. Be sure to check out the website and their Instagram. I'll leave all the links to this in the description below, but now let's get back to the video. Too small. Both shots. Awful. Should have worn my ear defenders for that, but. I just got electric shock on my back. I did not know that was on. Missed the pigeon and got an electric shock. Pigeon's literally still warm, and I'm gonna chuck it straight in the pan, cook it up before I go to the gym. I'll have 2 now, and then 2 when I get back from the gym. Breast number 1. If I had to compare it to anything, it would be, it's like duck, but with a more gamey taste, if that makes sense. I'm making sure to keep the skin on it this time. Last time I stripped it off, but 1, it's super tasty, and 2, I'm losing all the calories and fat that's in the skin. Today I'm diving into the freezer and cooking up a bass which I caught at the start of this season, or I think it might have been the end of last season, so it's been in there quite a while. So what I'm going to do is cut it into steaks, chuck it in the oven with some seasoning, and then this week when I go to work, instead of cooking the fish at work, I can take in some pre-cooked bass, which will be a lot easier. Look at the size of that, I forgot how big it was. It's huge, man. We've gone with the red rocket, bit of spice. I'm going to cover it all in the red rocket flavor. This is personally, it's my favourite one out of the lot. So I'm going to cover this side, turn them over, and do exactly the same on the other side. So there's a nice even spread. That is the end result from all that bass. So I've got 3 days here. This will take me to Wednesday, and it gives me more time to go out and hunt for some other stuff. The red rocket turned out really good. I've just tried a bit of the fish there, and it's lovely. So excited to try all that tomorrow. Right, welcome back. I'm out with Fred on the boat fishing for hopefully some mackerel or a pollock, and maybe a bass if we can catch one on the lures. In terms of weight then, I started off around 99 kilos. I've checked in at around 93 kilos. So lost a fair bit of weight, and that's probably due to the lack of carbs. The wheat that I picked from the field last week, or the end of last week, is now fully dried out, so I should be able to make some kind of flour or something out of it tonight or tomorrow morning. A week into this challenge, and I'm already starting to notice a lot of things changing, not only for my body but my actual day-to-day activities and what I'm doing. You know, I'm a person who does spend quite a lot of time outdoors anyway, but doing this challenge, and I do recommend anyone to give it a go if they can. You know, it does force you to go outside, and it does force you to spend your time wisely in outdoor activities, you know, whether that be fishing, hunting. Well, I'm 9 days into this, you know, every day I've been out, whether that's first thing in the morning, lunchtime if I'm not at work, and in the evenings. No fish tonight, unfortunately, so I'm digging in the freezer and cooking up the spider crab, which I caught at Big Bree last month. Still plenty of meat to be picked on these if you know what you're doing and where to pick it. As you can see, without me dripping that everywhere, the claws are really big. Plenty of meat in the claws. That's where the most meat is found, but you can also find a lot of meat in the actual joints, like the knuckle joints, which is attached to the body. With the crab meat nearly picked, it was time to move on to the flour for the flatbread. The wheat that I picked back on day 3 was now ready to go, and all I needed to do was grind it down. Final product, we've got some flour. It's not the finest of flour, but it's definitely usable. With the flour created from the wheat on day 3, I made myself a flatbread. Very simple, it's just adding the water to the flour until you reach a dough-like texture. Once you've achieved this, roll it out and throw it into a pan with a drizzle of oil. For the topping, I added the spider crab meat as well as a bit of mayonnaise as my mid-challenge treat. The round's obviously gone up through and done its damage because it is dead, which is good. Setting these snares really brought me back to my childhood. Me and my old man used to go out with this 410 shotgun and we'd set 5 to 10 traps and check them the next morning. I could remember being so excited when I woke up in the morning, eager to see what we'd caught throughout the night. Doing this challenge has helped me relive some of these memories which I thought I'd forgotten. We've just got back from the shoot. Plucked, filleted the pheasant. Unfortunately, I did actually hit the pheasant at the rear end. It wasn't a headshot, and likewise with the rabbit actually. So I damaged the rear, or both rear legs, but it was quite a small pheasant anyway. You can see the breast here. One of the rear legs, I've got the loin, and then the 2 front legs here. So a nice feed tonight. I'm glad I went out and got those. Okay, good morning, welcome back again. So this is the following morning after we laid the traps down at along the hedge line here. I actually see a rabbit just there right now. I'm amazed. Look, got a rabbit on one of the snares, but unfortunately it's been eaten to hell by something. I don't know what, but as you can see, snare worked absolutely perfectly. But I can still use the rear legs of that, so it's not a problem. Number 3, again, not touched. Not sure why, but again, I'm going to leave this tonight and throughout the day, and hopefully that should set off. Come to a very local spot to me tonight. I was speaking to a friend last night and he said this bay was absolutely packed with seagulls, and he managed to catch 2 or 3 bass on some lures. I'll leave the link to the lures that he was using in the description below, but he said it was packed with fish, so it's good signs. I'm gonna get in the water and see what's around, so I'll see you down there. Now, some of you are probably wondering why I'm shaking my spear gun so aggressively like I'm doing in this video. Now, knowing from what mackerel are like when it comes to fishing, I use the flopper on the end of my spear as a way to attract the fish back in. Not only is it noisy, but with the added shiny effect of the flopper, it actually brought the fish right back in close to the gun, which allowed me to take the shot. the colours on that mackerel. Hell of a shot as well, just on the gill plate. I don't know if you can remember for when I actually caught it, it disappeared in the distance and then I just twisted the end of the gun to get it back. But look at the colours on that. And not only have we got awesome colours here, look at the sky. Probably doesn't do it justice, but not a cloud in the sky. Sun's setting down over there. Best thing about these bass is, you know, compared to the ones I get out deep that are a lot older, none of these have parasites in them. They're a lot better, a lot healthier fish.
Ever since I was a young lad, I've been very interested in the history of the hunter-gatherer lifestyle and putting this into practice. I would spend hours fishing the windy stretches of my local river when I used to live in France. Brown trout and rainbow trout were caught on a daily basis. I would bring these home to my mum, who would turn these freshly caught fish into a delicious meal for the family. This is another reason why I started my channel in the first place, practicing the art of the hunter-gatherer in an underwater environment, but now expressing these interests above water. After this successful day of shooting with 6 pigeons in the bag, I cooked up 2 with the remaining flour and some greens that I picked later that morning, and the rest I put in the freezer for another day.
We finally made it. The last day of the challenge. Feeling quite exhausted and needing a good feed, I decided to go out on a hunt for a bit of a feast. And as greedy as it sounds, I wanted a whole lobster for lunch, and you know, a big one at that. Tried a few fish beforehand, landing myself a nice bass and a couple of mullet. And one of the mullet I actually used to lure the lobster out of its hole, as you can see in this video here. Lobby, 2 mullet, 1 here, 1 down here, and then a nice bass right at the end. Now the last day was a bit of a treat. The lobster that I caught in the morning was getting eaten for lunch. As it was the last day and I was desperate to get some tasty food in my body, and I had technically completed the challenge at this point, I decided to cook up a lobster boil with smoked sausage, corn and a load of tasty seasoning, which I threw in there as well. That wraps it up. It's been a very fun 2 weeks. Lots of activities, lots of shooting, fishing, spearfishing, even snaring. You know, managed to catch a rabbit doing that. And I would really be keen to do it again for a longer period of time. So if you are keen to see that, then do please let me know below. You know, I could extend it easily to a month without a problem, and potentially when I actually leave my job and do this full time, then you know, we could go away for longer periods of time doing different sorts of challenges. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel, then please don't forget to subscribe. It's completely free to do so. It just notifies you every time I release a new video. you've got any questions about the challenge, or if you'd like to give me any pointers on different challenges that I could do in the future, then please let me know in the comment section down below. That's all for now, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. We just appreciate the view a minute. Look at this.